what's going to happen is all 32 franchises are going to be up for bid at once. So you're not just bidding on one specific spot. You're bidding on, well, I guess you are bidding on a specific spot. So the highest bid gets the first pick in the draft. So that's the pick or the place you want to be when you're bidding. And then so on. So the next highest bid gets second, the next highest bid third. But all of them are on sale or on auction at once, and all of them close at once. So as long as there's a bid coming in, all the different positions are up for bid again. So if the 32nd spot, a new bidder comes in trying to get that, then everybody's welcome to bid on the first spot again. So that just keeps going until there's no more bids for 2 minutes, and then the auction will be closed. So yeah, you can absolutely see who's bidding. You can see what everybody's bidding and what place you're in. I think it's a pretty unique system that the head of sports have come up with, and just the jockeying for position from second to fifth to eighth to 30th, because as you get outbid, you're going to move down the list. So if you get outbid by a few people, you're going to move down pretty quickly and maybe even out of the bidding. So I think people will jump back in to keep in the mix. So it's a unique system, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody watching it live in Vegas, but also online. I think it's going to be an entertaining event. And it is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to own a professional fantasy NFL-level team. So the stakes are high.
This question comes in from Showtime. How will the score earned from the franchise auction be allocated?
Yeah, that's a good question. The money that's raised from the franchise auction, the majority of it is going towards funding the platform and building the platform out. As we have a lot of building to do, our intent is to make this as high end as technology will allow us. So as of right now, 90% of the revenue goes towards the platform, and 10% goes to the first year's prize pool. And for the platform, this is a one and done chance to raise money to develop the football league. We don't get to sell these franchises again. It's one and only time. We'll only ever sell a franchise if the NFL happens to expand. So majority of the money is going to building, and that 10% will go into the prize pool.
All right, this next one comes in from Patrick. When someone buys a franchise, it's like she is buying a real franchise, right? Can you talk about that a little? What would be some good first steps to set it up and compete?
Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly the fact, and that's the intent, and the environment that we want to create is that the feel is like you just bought a professional franchise. And with the actual athletes involved, the athletes on your team, the athletes in the mix helping you develop your team and promote your team, it should really feel like a real franchise. With the whole structure of a complete roster and practice roster and the scouting and looking forward and rebuilding or going at it to win this year, all those strategies have to be produced. And I think an important part is you'll bring in a staff of GMs, coaches, and that whole feel. So I think it certainly does feel like a real franchise. Where the idea originated from was looking at like the NHL situation where the Seattle had to pay $750 million just to get the right to have a team in the NHL, $750 million. We kind of got the thinking that even millionaires can't own professional franchises. So why don't we make something digital with the athletes attached and give people a chance to get that feel of what it's like to own a franchise, even if they're millionaires, because they just won't get that chance. Interesting enough, I know the MLBA is expanding, and to get one of those franchises, it's $2.2 billion. So we think there's a lot of room to move within what we're doing. And yeah, we really want to get that feel. In terms of first steps, I mean, obviously I think a very important part is if you buy a franchise, this isn't to do it for a couple years and carry on to something different. You're really getting one of the 32 franchises in the entire world. So I think things like branding, things like your logo, things like sending a message about your brand and what you want to accomplish with your team is a really important first step. And then of course the draft comes, and you're going to get the first chance to build the foundation of your team. So that's obviously important. But I do think branding and showing the public that you want to give them something that's entertaining is as important as anything to start.
This is from QB Kyle. Obviously, he cares about offensive linemen. He's a quarterback. And he says, how will football use offensive linemen and special teams players in fantasy?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think it's a question or an answer that changes as we go. But the complete intent is to include every position on every team, and have them in the mix in the actual calculation of fantasy sports, or fantasy points, I'm sorry. And, those actual structures will be evolving. I think Andy and his team has a pretty good formulation on how exactly that works. I don't want to speak to the exact numbers as they have it down, and I think it's even in the works still on how it'll look when we get to the gameplay. But it's an important part of what we're doing, and as I talk to professional athletes and retired football players, it's something that is really attractive, that it includes everybody. Because as we know in fantasy football right now, a lot of the players don't even matter in fantasy football. And as big as it is, it kind of seems crazy that they aren't involved. And there's lots of ways to structure it. Those stats are out there, and it's something that's important to us that we include everybody. And that's from a gameplay standpoint, and it's also from a standpoint of NFTs. We want to include every player at every level, and those guys are as important to us as the superstars. So I'm happy that we went that route, and I think it's going to make us just a little bit better than everybody else.
This one comes in from Lisa. What makes you think prize pools will get to 6 or 7 figures? How is that possible?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I mean, we talk about big prize pools, and obviously nothing's guaranteed. But as we work out the models and work out the revenue streams that we have in place, those numbers are completely attainable. When you bring the actual stars into the ecosystem, I think there's a lot of ways to generate revenue, based on their popularity. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Dean. That we have revenue flows in charts that people can get their hands on and just look at the specifics of where they're coming. But if you look at this document, on the top in the white, those are all the different revenue streams that UFFS can create for each league. So everything from a portion of the digital athlete NFTs that get sold, we drive back to the leagues. Obviously transaction fees that go on every day, and you'd be amazed by how many transactions happen in a day just in our hockey league. So obviously some of these leagues are going to have massive transactions happening. Obviously branding, merchandise. I think when we're talking about the big names being affiliated with your franchise, merchandise can be a huge revenue generator. As we go and we're established and having the names and the reputation, ad revenue is obviously will be a big portion of what we can create for revenue. There is a crypto betting portion that's going to be worked into the DeFi. This is just basically just cryptocurrency based on fantasy sports. We won't be doing betting on live sports at all. That's not in our area of expertise, and we just don't want to get into that. But there'll definitely be some of that on our DeFi. Within our DeFi, there's going to be lotteries. There's going to be staking. There's going to be different revenue generating schemes within DeFi. So that decentralized finance includes the score token, the sport tokens that are coming. So that can create quite a significant amount of revenue. And the way we see it, this is just the beginning, because once we establish something as reputable as what we're doing, I think alternative revenue streams will be available as well. So this is just a real good overview of that franchise revenue wallet. So all the revenues are getting driven into the franchises, from prize pools, from, like we said, the other revenue streams. And then from there, that revenue gets shared. 47.5%, for example, goes to profit for the franchise. 5% off of all the revenue that we generate is going to be funneled to our partner chip in. Their association will take the charitable money, and together with us, we'll find communities and kids sport that need our support. That's very important to us. So right off the top, they get paid first. And then the other 47.5 of the revenue that comes in is going to go to that player NFTs that are on that franchise. So both the NFT investor that bought that digital player, whoever buys these digital athletes, they become an instant business partner with that athlete. So there's a special connection there right off, and they're both going to benefit from the revenue that comes to that NFT. So as you can see, 70% of that goes to the NFT holder, the investor in that digital athlete, and 30% goes to the athlete that's attached to that NFT, because we're using their statistics to play live fantasy or legends fantasy or whatever it is, whatever level we're at. And then the athlete themselves has a chance to create revenue if they choose to be more and more involved. So the more collectibles we do, the athlete's getting 70% of all the collectibles that we produce with our partner block asset. And then all kinds of things. If they want to get involved and be part of the team, the franchise that they're on, and be back on that team, that if they're a legend that they're not on anymore, they can certainly do that. And things like appearances and merchandise and media appearances and all types of things that we can create revenue for them and get them back into the game if they're a legend. Another aspect of the platform is the NFT game revenue. So we're in the process of building a simple or a platform with simple games. So if you own an NFT of a certain player, you can go into the football section and challenge another NFT holder to a simple game, or even a group of NFT holders as we go forward, and simply challenge somebody to a game, put up X amount of score token or the football token, the gridiron token that we're going to launch here, and the winner takes all, and with a rake of that going back to the NFT holders. So there's multiple ways to create revenue, and there's some in the works too. So we're pretty confident that it will be a lucrative for everybody.
Another one from Showtime. What are ways franchise owners benefit from owning a franchise?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And, the franchises are the heart of everything that we're doing. So the franchise owners are the ones taking the risk. They're going to stick their neck out and invest in something, buying a franchise. And, as we laid out, there's going to be benefits in terms of creating revenue. I think it's also, you get to play fantasy sports with the real fantasy or the real players attached. So you suddenly have a team of athletes that you're playing fantasy sports with, and they're a part of it. So I think it's kind of a very fun thing to participate in, as well as an investment. Another part of it is a franchise owner of a certain level or a certain sport. There's more opportunities coming. So if we create a fantasy league based on live fantasy points, there's going to be 32 franchises. As we expand, when we create an esports league that's just based on esports, those we're going to use the same franchises. We're not going to create new ones. So there's opportunity to expand what you invested in. we already have plans for multiple leagues in different scenarios, from esports to simulation to live play. So you're really holding a special asset that's going to grow. So I think you're buying into the vision as much as the quick return, I think.
Well, and franchise auctions for the UFAHL go next Friday, July 16th to 18th. And here is a question about that particular process. It's from Terry, and Terry wants to know, how exactly does the payment system work after the franchise auction?
Yeah, we did a lot of back and forth on how that auction was going to work, and how you pay for those franchises. As we're entering into the sports world, a very small portion of the sports world is aware of crypto, or has participated in the crypto market. And I think part of our vision with UFF Sports, in conjunction with Zilliqa and their vision, is trying to create adoption from the mainstream into cryptocurrencies, and get people in early, because it is the future. And I think through sports, it's a very natural way to get people to adopt cryptocurrencies. So we decided to leave the auction open to USD bids, but those bids are payable in score token. So we've whitelisted all the bidders, and immediately after the auction, we have a process of proof of funds, and then whatever they bid in US dollars is payable in score token. So if you have crypto and you have score token in your wallet, you'll simply just pay up that many score, whatever you bid in US dollars. And then if you don't hold score, our team will be there to help you get into the crypto market. So help you onboard wallets, help you get accounts set up, buy some Zilliqa, swap it into score token, and get squared up with us. The process may take 2, 3, 4 weeks. But we will do our due diligence and make sure everybody has the money to pay what they bid. And then the question will come up is, obviously the demand for score is going to rise as people are trying to buy score to pay what they bid. So there's going to be a process where you will pay the amount that you bid in US dollars, and as the price of score goes up, it really doesn't matter to the bidder, as we want US dollars worth. So whatever you're paying for your score token is taken off your bill, and then we just square that up in score. So if score goes up, you'll just pay less score for your $10,000 bill or $100,000 bill. You'll just pay less score as the price goes up. So the situation is going to bring on new crypto people and new crypto money in the form of USD that never was in the crypto market. And to us, that's exciting, and that's something that we enjoy doing, is bringing more people into the crypto space.
Well, and more questions, and rightfully so, about the auction next week. Will I be able to watch the franchise auction somewhere? And if I decide to bid, start bidding at any time? And this is from Melanie.
Yeah, obviously, if you're in Vegas with us, you'll be able to watch it live. There'll be a live event that we can hold up to 100 people in studio, as Andy and Eric Metcalf are filming live in studio with guest appearances from Chris Carter and a few other NFL legends that will be announced soon, and NFL legends that are in studio as well. So you can watch it live. It'll also be broadcast live on aosports.tv, our media partner. It'll be their first event live, and that'll be broadcast on their website, so you'll be able to watch it there. In terms of getting in on the auction, anybody that's going to bid needs to be whitelisted and identified as a person with us. Just want to eliminate any bots or any non-legitimate bidders. So up until the time of the auction closes, our group will be ready to identify you if you want to jump in on the auction. So once the auction closes, you're going to be out, but we're broadcasting an hour before close of the auction. So anytime from the 16th till then, you'll be able to jump in, and we can get you verified and get you spending money.
All right, this question comes from Pierre. How do you have fantasy sports using simulation? Isn't that just predetermined outcomes?
Yeah, so when we talk about the Legends League, which is something that we're really, really excited about, and again, talking to these retired athletes, it's really exciting to them, and it's really exciting to see a smile on their face when you talk to them about not being retired anymore and being part of a team and having a jersey and having a logo that you represent and being a part of the, as Ryan Malone would say, part of the boys. So that's exciting to them, and it's exciting to us that we can make that happen. If you look into some of the simulations that have been created by different companies, they're absolutely amazing. They're based on the stats that the athlete achieved during their career, and they stick them into a simulator that really weighs all different things, not only your ability to play, but the ability for you to play with the athletes that are around you. So it's actually relative. If it's a star quarterback and then the O-line on that fantasy simulated team is not very good, even that quarterback's not going to do very good. So some of the simulations are actually incredible. On the football side, we are in talks of working with a simulated video game, which is based on simulation, not just on more of an arcade game like a Madden, where results are kind of scripted, and if an offense scheme is up against a defensive scheme, there's a few results that happen. But with this game, it's all completely simulated based on the players that are put into the game. So we're really excited about what they're doing. And also, we plan on making this very first class. So a lot of funds will be put back in to make the simulation better and better and better. And we feel with football, we'll be able to broadcast Legends games weekly. And as we go, maybe we're broadcasting all the games, because I think it's very interesting to watch all these legends play against each other and be on a new fantasy team. So I think you'll be surprised by how good the simulation can be.
Another one from Arnie asking, any news when the UFAHL system will be ready to launch?
Yeah, speaking on minor league systems, we're throwing around a lot of options on how we can get something going quickly. As the gameplay engines aren't available for minor leagues, it's going to be up to us to build them. So the UFAHL probably will not have its own gameplay until the 2022 season, the fall of 2022. We're working hard. We have a tech team hired, and we're already building our own baseball gameplay engine. And once that's built, we'll have a structure to plug in other leagues. So by this time next year, we're going to look. We're going to have a big stable of gameplay engines for different sports. And once we build our own, we can just plug that into every sport at every level. And that's the goal. So we're excited to bring on the minor league fantasy and getting those guys involved. And the cool thing about getting the minor leagues involved is that gives the scouts another source of revenue as they get to lease their prospects that they hold into these leagues. So it's important to us just to complete the entire ecosystem from, really young prospects all the way to legends and legends that aren't even with us anymore. So we want to do the whole scope, and that's why minor league is important. So yeah, we're probably about a year away from that.
This one from James. How many ex-NFL players or other high-profile bidders have expressed interest in taking part in the auction next week?
Yeah, that's a tough question. It's probably not something I can just put out on the table, but we do have many ex-players that are interested in buying teams, and groups of ex-players interested in buying teams. Some high-profile people that are looking at it, but nobody confirms until the end, and not everybody wants to play their cards till the end. I think it'll be a competitive on the high end, but I think there'll still be a chance for everybody to get in. Some of the the 32nd team and the 25th team, I still think there's a chance. There's not 32 high-end bidders, so I think if you're interested, just get registered and give it a shot, and we'll see where it goes.
All right, this is the last question that's come in. It's from Showtime once again, and he wants to know, what kind of rates can we expect from staking?
Yeah, our DeFi platform will be ready in approximately a month. It's kind of got pushed back a little bit by some of the audits that we want to do, and just make sure there's no bugs and make sure everybody's tokens are secure. Our tokenomics expert Arlo is still working on these specific numbers. The staking rewards will be competitive for sure with what you see out there. I just don't want to get a number out there until Arlo has the science worked out exactly. I can say that, the plan that we're coming up with will be, high staking rates off the start, and then, reducing as we grow the pool. But we do have a system where the staking is not going to go away. It'll be around as long as we have a platform. So that's really encouraging, that there will be a minimum staking forever. So we're working hard on that, and I think it's a very important part of our ecosystem for investors into the coin, or holders of the coin, but also the prize pools, because as we grow the prize pools in every sport, those prize pools will be staked, because they're locked up until we pay them out. So it does a couple things. It ensures that those coins are locked up and not on the market anymore, and the prize pools are earning money within themselves. So that's an important part of what we're doing too. It's just another benefit for franchise owners and players from the crypto ecosystem.
Terrific stuff, Tony. Thank you so much for providing some knowledge today on this very first UFF Sports Ask Me Anything. We look forward to doing this many more times after successful auctions next week. Thanks for joining us on UFSN today.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for putting together, Dean. And yeah, something we want to do on a more regular basis as we keep growing, and more new people are coming on and have more questions. We're happy to answer them, and if anybody has anything else, just DM me, and we're always around to answer questions.
And people can head to www.uffsports.com. Thanks, Tony.
You bet. Thanks, Dean.